Hello and welcome to another edition of Agenda 2063 TV show, the only show in Ghana, the region, the continent, telling you authentic stories about Africa's integration. And even though we spend the better part of the show sometimes referring to issues around the African Continental Free Trade Area, we always come back to the issue of Agenda 2063, which we believe is very important. And in fact, today is one such show where we bring you a maiden edition of what we call #WamkeleSpeaks, and we'll be detailing that very shortly. My name is E.K. Benson Jr., your regular host for the show. Happy to be here, coming through your homes, your laptops, and wherever you may be. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back. All right, so welcome back from the break, and very happy to be giving you the maiden edition of #WamkeleSpeaks. So on 24th June 2021, the Secretary-General of the African Continental Free Trade Area, Wamkele, made a 26-minute presentation at a summit which was organized by the Regional Integration Think Tank, AfCFTA Policy Network. The objective of this meeting was to assess the state of AfCFTA trading 6 months on. Now, as part of the continuous monitoring of Agenda 2063 and its 7 aspirations, we felt that it was important to undertake a project to examine his speech and identify the extent to which his speech reflected the 7 aspirations of Agenda 2063. So to this end, put together something. We looked through his speech through what we call the apanometer. So the APN meter, virtual meter, looking through the speech, and we're going to explain that how we did it. So the methodology basically was that in the 26-minute video of Wamkele's speech, we divided into 5 videos of around 4.5 minutes, each to make it easier to pay greater attention to the rhythm and the style of the speech, and to also identify how closely Wamkele was sticking to Agenda 2063 aspirations. So what we did was that the 7 aspirations were tabulated against the videos in a column. And then we measured which aspiration Wamkele was referring to in each video. So very quickly, here are the results. So in video 1, Wamkele refers to what he calls market integration, and he actually uses that many times. And in market integration, and then the seamless movement of goods and persons. This is actually a reference to aspiration 2 that speaks to an integrated continent. Video 2 also refers to market integration, which is aspiration 2, but touches on aspiration 1, when many argues that Africa has never had this opportunity before as a continent. This opportunity is consistent with aspiration 1, which calls for a prosperous continent. When he talks about the opportunity, he's talking about the opportunity to make money, opportunity to, create commercial, value from the African Continental Free Trade Area, which speaks to prosperity. And accordingly, we believe that it is talking about aspiration 1. Video 3 calls our attention to aspiration 1, which is still a prosperous continent. When many draws our attention to Africa's industrial capacity to be celebrated. It also refers to aspirations 6 and 7 when he announces that there will be a protocol on women, and for a dynamic young population, that will be a huge market. Many also announces there will be an AfCFTA business forum for private sector and CSOs. All these are consistent with aspiration 6 and 7. In video 4, many refers to the Pan-African Payment Settlement Systems platform and how that will resolve the cost of currency convertibility. He also speaks to the availability of an adjustment fund that will help member states get used to moving towards a system where they can take advantage of the African Continental Free Trade Area. These are consistent with aspirations 1 and 2. Aspirations 6 and 7 are revisited when many talks about the African Trade Gateway, where SMEs across the continent can speak to each other, and also how tariffs will be an industrial tool. Finally, in video 5, many harks to aspiration 2, which is an integrated continent, when he admonishes Africans on needing to implement daily challenges and difficulties, failing which we will not succeed. He concludes that the African Continental Free Trade Area will benefit women in trade as much as it will benefit SMEs, which speaks directly to Aspiration 6, which calls for inclusive and people-centered Africa where women and youth are included. Suffice to say, in the videos, there was no reference to Aspiration 3, which speaks to good governance, Aspiration 4, which is about a peaceful and secure Africa, and Aspiration 5, which is Africa with a strong cultural identity. For us, in this first Wamkele Mini Speaks, or Wamkele Speaks, we believe that Mene actually does very well speaking most of the time to Aspirations 1, 6, and 7. In fact, when you listen throughout many of his speeches, there's a lot of reference to women and youth and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of Aspiration 6 and 7, which is about the AU as a global player. There's a lot of reference to that in many of his speeches across the continent where he has traveled to. But in this one, he's talking about Aspirations 1, 6, and 7. But his speech needs to be more reflective of all 7 aspirations. We believe that a peaceful and secure Africa is as important to the African Continental Free Trade Area as a prosperous Africa. In the same vein, do we believe that good governance on the continent is important, as it is important to have a commercial and prosperous Africa. Finally, we also believe that Africa with a strong cultural identity is equally critical, because an Africa with a strong cultural identity is one where we will believe in ourselves, we will wear our clothes, we will play our own music, we will eat our food, we will do everything that is African. It is not to say that we will shun the West, it is simply to say that we will continue to embrace the cosmopolitan thing of being in a global community of nations, but we will still do what we need to do as Africans, eat our food, sell our own stuff, buy our own food, that kind of thing, and wear our own clothes. So in that respect, because many fall short on Aspirations 3, 4, and 5, we will have to give him 4 out of 7, which translates roughly to about less than 50%, just about 50%. So in that respect, we believe that he needs to do better in his speeches. In a speech like this, yes, he did well, but he needs to be more reflective. We need to see more the 7 aspirations being reflected in every speech he makes, or at least 3/4 of the aspirations being reflected. So, well, he has done well, but we believe that he can definitely do better. And in that respect, we will say, well done, but definitely can do better, Mr. Wamkele Mene. So basically, this maiden edition of Wamkele Speaks is an attempt to innovate the education on Agenda 2063. And so we will continue, as and when practicable, to continue to monitor his speeches. We believe it is the start of an all-important project seeking to identify the extent to which speeches by the Secretary-General of AfCFTA go to streamline in the 7 aspirations of Agenda 2063. The hashtag WamkeleSpeaks will help continue the spirit of challenging people on education of the 7 aspirations by getting them to think how truly AfCFTA Secretariat is incorporating all 7 aspirations of Agenda 2063 and walking the talk of AfCFTA being a flagship project of Agenda 2063. So, in this respect, this ends the maiden edition. There will be a write-up available on our social media platforms and on our Twitter, including our Twitter account. We are very happy to be bringing you this maiden edition, and we are very confident that in subsequent editions, we can definitely give you a good and robust rendering of what Wamkele Speaks is about. So thank you very much for spending time with us. This was a shorter edition, but we believe we got to the point, and we are happy to be coming your way. My name is Ike Benson Jr., happy to be coming your way, and we hope to speak to you next time for another important and great edition. We hope you have a great day. Thank you and goodbye.